Good morning, my YouTube friends. Today I'm going to talk about two different stocks. One's going to be Apple and the Department of Justice lawsuit and what's going on with them. And the other one, I'm actually going to give my first sell recommendation, or at least to start looking for an opportunity to potentially getting out of what I think is actually a great company. But I'll let you know why. So stick around for today's video and I'll explain all of that. So, hello and happy Sunday. Today is March 24th. I hope I'm getting the date right. I'm pretty sure that's correct. My name is Adam Kahn, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the Rational Investor. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. It's actually a little chilly here in Las Vegas, but to be fair, for middle to end of March, it's actually really nice compared to what I'm used to from I lived in Chicago and I also lived in New York. So today I'm going to talk about two different stocks. In one, I'm going to give my first sell recommendation, but it's really more of looking for an opportunity of timing to sell because I don't know if it would be wise to sell exactly now or wait maybe a month or so until I think maybe it peaks out. But before I get into that, let's talk about Apple and the Department of Justice lawsuit because I find it really interesting. It caused Apple to fall off pretty good on Friday, and normally I would say, bad news, good company, good opportunity to get in. But I think this is going to drag out for a little while and may create better opportunity. To be fair, typically when I keep an eye on a stock, I will buy a little of it, and I mean really just something so it's on my screen and I can pay attention. Now, this is not financial advice. Sorry, I caught myself. You guys need to do your own research. I'm just sharing what I do. You shouldn't be following me. You really need to do what fits you for your portfolios. And really, if you have questions, I use a financial planner and we go through a full series of questions and what my goals are and what I want for the money for me and where I am in my life, which is something you should do. And if you want to talk to one, feel free to make a comment in the comment section. I'm a little bit biased. Mine is my brother. We were both traders in Chicago. We both have finance backgrounds. We both talk about this stuff all the time. So he knows my situation really well and what I hope to do. And really, it goes more to that's why I say don't just follow anybody because it really has to fit you. Even if I'm right, you might be at a different stage in life. Things might be different for what you want as you move along. As I've gotten older, I don't worry so much about outperforming the markets. It's really more about slowly I've shifted into things that are a little bit more secure so that when I get into retirement over the next few years, they'll be able to pay the bills through whether it's dividends or however I plan to for that part of my life. And if I miss out on some upside, that might fit me. Now, I still, as you guys know, I have different accounts. I still have my small trading account, which I take tons of risk in, have interesting positions where I might sell options against it. But it's a really small position. It just fits my trader mentality and that part of my brain. So back to the Department of Justice lawsuit. So essentially what they're saying is Apple has made an unfair marketplace, forcing users of their products to only use their products and making it more difficult for other companies to be able to sync with them. And to be perfectly fair, it makes a good point. I have Apple products and I've gotten into that. Every time I look to get a new product, I really don't consider anything else because I get overwhelmed with how difficult it would be to transform into something else because I know it wouldn't be an easy switch. Whereas if I buy another iPhone, I just turn it on. It's got all my contacts, it's got everything else in there. And then they even talked about the watch where other watches don't really work with the iPhone and the Apple Watch doesn't really work with other ones, and that's true as well. Now, I had the watch for a little while. I found I really don't use it very much, so it kind of sits on a counter and I never even put it on anymore. But I think the lawsuit actually has some merit. The interesting thing is the reason I find this such a mesmerizing lawsuit is I don't see a fair solution because in my mind, to be fair to Apple too, they shouldn't have to invest millions of dollars to make their product less competitive. That's not really fair. Why should they have to spend tons of money to figure out ways that make it more compatible with other companies. I don't know that I see that as such a fair solution either. I have my fictitious idea of what I think they could do. Like, let's say it's Samsung and it doesn't sync with all of their products. Well, maybe Samsung should invest what they think they need to make Apple products sync better. Because, my brother, I think it's a Samsung, but he has something different. And he has all sorts of weird things that happen on group texts. And if you try to do a FaceTime, it doesn't work, and some other things. So it's a really interesting lawsuit because, like I said, I think the Department of Justice is accurate that Apple has set it up in a way that's unfair and that creates a bit of a monopoly to some degree and gives them a stronghold on that market. But I also don't know that it should be their responsibility to have to spend money to make sure that their products work better with somebody who's a competitor of theirs. Really interesting dynamic. Now, if you're just curious about my thoughts on the stock and the stock price, I had Apple for a long time. I'd like to pat myself on the back, but really I owe Dan Niles a bit of thank you because he was talking about it a good bit, and I kind of agreed with some of the things he was saying, which is the earnings had slowed and they hadn't done better in a long time, but the stock price had continued to go up. And I saw that as maybe a good time to consider getting out and waiting and seeing if there was a better opportunity in the future. I'm not looking to really buy it here, but I do think Apple is a great company, and a great company is something that is probably worth owning. And like I said, I try not to pay attention to this stuff, but since I watch it all the time, it's hard for me not to. So I decided to take Apple out of the safe deposit box. I don't know exactly when, but it was months ago. And I know I got out of it and moved into other things. And I've been happy about that so far. And if it fell further, sure, I'd be looking to buy it back. But in all reality, oftentimes the reason I put it in a safe deposit box is that doesn't happen, and you look back 10 years later and it was a mistake. So, yeah, there's some things going on. In my own personal opinion, I think they're a little frothy in terms of their price, but I still think it's a great company and no reason not to own Apple. The other thing is bad news on a great company. It did cause the stock to go down. Maybe I'm wrong about waiting longer to get into the stock. Um, and who knows? I mean, maybe this is a bottom. I would wait until what I think the price to earnings are a little bit better. I actually hope that the lawsuit becomes a bigger problem and weighs on the stock a good bit. And I see an opportunity of if it really had a really good pullback, that sure, Apple is a company, there's no reason I wouldn't want in my portfolio. So, what company am I thinking is a good opportunity to sell? And what's funny to me about it is I think they're a great company. And similar to Apple, it's also one I would want to own. I just don't. I bought it at the perfect time and then I scared myself out of it for some stupid reason, which is Chipotle. The only reason I think it's probably a time to look to sell is they announced a 50-for-1 stock split. Stocks reacted well. Um, I have a feeling it could continue to go higher until the time of the stock split. But what I've noticed over the years is a lot of times when they announce these stock splits, after or just before the stock split, it tends to be a high for a good long time. I don't know if the insiders see that the things are slowing down and they think that revenues may slow. So they offer a stock split in the hopes to get retail investors to buy some of the shares and help support it. I really don't know why that is the case, but I see it time and time again. Again, cover my butt. You need to do your own research. Don't listen to me. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So, really, whatever you guys do is whatever you guys do. And I don't know why I see this happen over and over again. And I really like Chipotle as a company, but they're going to go from about $3,000 to $60. And I don't know why a company would choose to do that now. And like I said, I saw it with Google, I saw it with Amazon, I've seen it with Tesla. Years ago, I think if you guys have listened, you've heard my story about McDonald's. That was exactly what would happen after their stock split. They'd run up, they would announce a stock split, everybody would get really excited. After the stock split, for whatever reason, I mean, maybe it was just randomness, but for whatever reason, it would fall and it would have a significant fall. It would be like a pullback of 50% or something. And then, of course, they were great companies, so they would bottom out and they'd eventually go back up and whatever else. But I think this creates an opportunity to consider getting out of your Chipotle if you had it. And if I had it, this would be a level I would be thinking of selling. And I love the company. Again, similar to Apple, I think it's a company I would want in my portfolio. So I have no issue with Chipotle. And if your timeline is 20 years, I would totally ignore this discussion. And that's why I suggest talking to a financial advisor, figuring out what your goals with your money is, and if it still fits your portfolio. I just think something's going on is for them to choose now is the time to announce the stock split. Um, just my opinion there on Chipotle. Maybe I'll go there for lunch today to help support the stock. Again, I don't know if I even remembered to say it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, make some comments. Let me know what you think about the Department of Justice lawsuit, and let me know what you think about Chipotle. I think they're both great companies. I see nothing wrong. I just, interested to see how they play out. Have a great day, and it looks like here comes the rain. So it smells nice. I love the smell of the rain. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.